How do you protect a small team? Basecamp has successfully stayed small. What's been the dragons you had to fight off? That, like, basically you make a lot of money. There's a temptation to grow. So how do you not grow?
Don't take venture capital.
Okay,
That
that's
is
step one.
point number one.
First
Point
of all,
number two
everybody
is...
takes venture capital, so you already went
I
the
mean,
other
that's
way.
been the answer for the longest time, because the problem isn't just venture capital, it's other people's money.
Yeah.
Once you take other people's money, completely understandably, they want a return. And they would prefer to have the largest return possible, because it's not them sitting in the code. It's not them getting the daily satisfaction out of building something, chiseling beautiful code poems out of the editor, right? They don't get that satisfaction. They get the satisfaction maybe of seeing something nice put into the world. That's fair. But they certainly also get a satisfaction of a higher return. And there is this sense, certainly in venture capital, stated in venture capital, that the whole point of you taking the money is to get to $1 billion or more. Now, the path to that usually does go through running established playbooks. And then when it comes to software, the enterprise sales playbook is that playbook. If you're doing B2B software, SaaS, you will try to find product market fit. And the second you have it, you will abandon your small and medium-sized accounts to chase the big whales with a huge sales force. And by then you're 1,000 people and life sucks.
Mm-hmm. That said, I mean, people are just curious about this. I've gotten the chance to get to know Jeff Bezos. He invested in Basecamp, non-controlling.
He bought secondaries. So this was the funny thing, is that when investing have these two dual meanings. Normally when people think about investing, they think you're putting in growth capital because you want the business to hire more people, to do more R&D so they can grow bigger. Bezos didn't do that, actually. He bought a ownership stake directly from Jason and I, and 100% of the proceeds of that purchase went into my and Jason's bank account. Personal bank account. Not a single cent went into the account of the company because we didn't need the money to grow. What we needed, or what we certainly enjoyed, was to some extent maybe the vote of confidence, but more so the security of taking a little bit off the table so that we dared turn down the big bucks from venture capitals. It was essentially a vaccine against wanting to take a larger check from people who then wanted to take the company to something enormous that we didn't want to go with it. So Jeff gave Jason and I just enough money that we were comfortable turning all those people down in a way where if it had turned belly up, like 6 months later, we wouldn't have been kicking ourselves and going, we had something here that was worth millions, and now we have nothing, and I have to worry about rent and groceries again.
It is a vote of confidence. I wonder I'd love to hear Jeff's side of the story of, like, why, because he doesn't need, like, the money. So it's really, I think it probably is just believing in people and wanting to have cool stuff be created in the world and make money off of it, but not like...
100% the motivation for Jeff wasn't a return. Because he actually has a team, his private office, that runs these investments, who did the calculus on the investment pitch we gave him, which was so ridiculous that Jason and I were laughing our asses off when we were writing down our metrics. I was like, no one's going to pay this. No one is going to give us this multiple of this amount of revenue. And that's fine. I mean, we took the call essentially out of kind of an awe that Jeff Bezos even wanted to look at us. And like, do you know what? We don't want venture capital. We don't need other people's money. But like, let's just give him a bullshit number that no sane person would actually say yes to. And then, I mean, we can each go our own way. And his investment team said, like, Jeff, no way. This makes no economic sense at all. They're asking for way too much money with way too little revenue. And Jeff just went like, I don't care. I want to invest in these guys. Because to him at the time, it was chump change, right? Like Jason and I each got a few $1 million. I mean, whatever the currency swing between the yen and the dollar that day probably moved 10x that for his net worth than our investment did. Jeff seemed genuinely interested in being around interesting people, interesting companies, helping someone go to distance. And I actually look back on that relationship with some degree of regret because I took that vote of confidence for granted in ways that I'm a little bit ashamed of. Over the years, I've been more critical about some of the things that Amazon had done that I feel now is sort of justified. So that's just sort of part of that processing of it. But on the economic sense, he gave us that confidence. He gave us the economic confidence, but then he also gave us the confidence of a CEO running, perhaps at the time, the most important internet business in the US, showing up to our calls, which we would have with him like once a year, and basically just going like, yeah, you guys are doing awesome stuff. You should just keep doing awesome stuff. I read your book. It's awesome. You launched this thing. It's awesome. You should just do more of that. I don't actually know how to run your business. You guys know.
So the book was out because I'm just from a fan perspective, I'm curious about how Jeff Bezos is able to see, because to me, you and Jason are like special humans in the space of tech. And the fact that Jeff was able to see that, right? How hard is it to see that?
He certainly saw it very early. And I think this is something that Jeff does better than almost anyone else. He spots that opportunity so far in advance of anyone else even open their eyes to it, or certainly is willing to bet on it far earlier and far harder than anyone else is. And he's just right time and again. I mean, we were not the only investment that he made. And certainly Amazon had a extremely long-term vision. So far longer than I have ever had the gumption to keep. Like, I think of myself as a long-term thinker. I'm playing a child's game compared to the game that Jeff is playing. Like, when I looked at Amazon's economics around the dot-com boom and bust, they looked ridiculous. Like, they were losing so much money. They were so hated by the market. No one believed that it was going to turn into what it is, but Jeff did in a way that level of conviction I really aspire to. And I think that's one of the main things I've taken away from that relationship, is that you can just believe in yourself to that degree against those odds. That's ridiculous. He did that at so many times our level that it's pathetic if I'm doubting myself.
Yeah, I think Amazon is one of those companies. I mean, it's come under a bunch of criticism over the years. This is something about humans that I don't appreciate so much, that we take for granted the positive that a thing brings real quick, and then we just start criticizing the thing. It's with the Wi-Fi and the airplanes.
That's exactly it.
But I think Amazon, there could be a case made that Amazon is one of the greatest companies in the last 100 years.
Oh, for sure. I think it's an easy case to make. What I also think is that the price you pay to be one of the greatest companies in the last 100 years is a lot of detractors, a lot of pushback, a lot of criticism, that this is actually order restored in the universe. One of my favorite teachers in all the time I've been on the internet is Kathy Sierra. I don't know if you know her work, but she was active for only a few short years before the cruel internet ran her off. But she wrote a blog called Creating Passionate Users. And she carved into my brain this notion of balance in the universe. If you're creating something of value that a lot of people love, you must create an equal and opposite force of haters. You cannot have people who love what you do without also having people who hate what you do. The only escape from that is mediocrity. If you are so boring and so uninteresting that no one gives a damn whether you exist or not, yeah, you don't get the haters, but you also don't get the impact of people who really enjoy your work. And I think Amazon is that, just at the massive scale, right? They've brought so much value and change to technology, to commerce, that they must simply have a black hole size of haters. Otherwise, the universe is simply going to tip over.